Alright, testing. Alright, so it is April 19th. This is going to be session 7 of Star Wars Life During Wartime, a fantasy flight role-playing game using the Edge of the Empire system. I'm Furious Angle, the GM, and more or less we're just waiting on the rest of the players because I said we'd be playing at 7:30 instead of 7. And as per usual, I am doing last-minute GM prep work because I have no discipline. So I'm trying to figure out where we left off. I know we only played a week ago, but time has broken down and lost all meaning. in the midst of this COVID-19 situation that we find ourselves in right now. I don't even know how many weeks it's been since I've been more or less sequestered in my house. So it seems like a lifetime ago where I was doing these horrible voices. So I guess we'll see how well I can get back into them. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Awesome.
How has your week been going?
Very slowly.
Does it feel like it's been a lot more than a week for you two?
Yeah. Well, I guess technically it has because last week was Easter, so we didn't meet.
Oh, yeah, that exactly explains why it feels like it's been more than a week since I've done this.
Either that or the time police are slipping up again.
Okay, doesn't apply. Hey, looks like Karmic Knight just joined. I cannot hear you. If you said something.
Hello, yes.
Hey, welcome. fair warning, it is storming over here, so it is always possible that I could completely lose connection.
Evening.
Hey, it's Rambo.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to jinx us, but it looks like the script is moving pretty quickly when I'm doing some test rolls.
Yes, he's talking.
I can barely hear him. Are you guys hearing him okay?
He needs to get his mic, perhaps get the thing to feel.
Could try boosting the volume on him personally, but...
Oh no, once he gets that going, you're gonna be deaf.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like that scene in the Fifth Element when he smashes the cockroach. The headphone's gonna fly off.
There is the possibility that he's just talking to someone else off mic.
So when he talks, it's actually towards us.
Huh. So how was everyone's Easter?
Nothing happened.
All right.
Lots of eating.
That's good. It is better than the alternative.
Yes, not eating.
All right, we have one dark side destiny. Wow, two dark side destiny. This is looking tense. Wow. All right. Cool. So I have lots of points to work with.
Oh my goodness.
I guess we can give Darius a little bit of time. So does it while we're waiting for him, does anyone want to give a recap of what happened 2 weeks ago if you think you remember it well enough?
For some reason, we're negotiating with the terrorists.
Did you guys agree that I believe he's not on? Yeah, I think you were suggesting the droid be brought to the summit. I guess as kind of a means to explain itself.
And everything just goes to heck because why not? That's how it goes in Star Wars.
Or maybe everything goes according to plan, and everyone gets...
Good plan.
Classic comedy.
Or it's a Shaggy Dog story and you all wake up and you're in bed with Patrick Duffy.
Or Tim Allen.
Did it happen with Tim Allen too?
There's a Shaggy Dog movie with Tim Allen.
Oh. So yeah, you had identified who the cause of the attacks was. You put a stop to it, and I believe the plan was.
Put a stop to it is a very generous term. Gan walked in, saw that it was a droid pining for revenge, and decided, yeah, Gan wants in on this.
So yeah, but effectively the attacks are stopped. All the operational droids that had been built are scrap, really scrap. This time, you spoke with the leader of the clones, who expressed great regret for what happened, and I think the next step was going to be everyone meeting up at the summit. Does anyone have anything they want to do before Darius gets on chat? And well, there's Darius now. But I want to leave that question open. Does anyone have anything that they need to do before the summit?
Well, if we want to invite the droid, then we're going to need to go get the droid.
This is correct.
And Gand is willing to do that if, like, everyone else has better things to do. Gand is willing to do that alone, rather.
I'll go with the Gan. Let's go.
Marcus needs to work on his PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I'm absolutely taking apart that computer core and finding as many details as I can.
Yes, so definitely someone is doing their paper in the last possible minute, like it's college.
I like the guy doing brain surgery on the droid.
I mean, I'm not actually doing brain surgery. I've got the computer core already. I'm just hooking it up to the computer and, like, reading through all the files, essentially. That shit takes time.
That does, especially takes time without a computer, without, like, your own brain being a computer.
So, let's see. I think who wants to do their thing first?
We need a destiny point from Darius.
Sorry. A little behind.
Oh no, it's not even like a sorry a little behind. Everyone else has rolled only bad.
You're welcome.
Whoa. A little more even now. All right, and as a reminder, the obligation from last time was Kaban, Keeper of the Faith. So -1 strain threshold, and however you want to play that off.
I mean, Gand did promise to find revenge for this droid.
So, and I apologize one more time. Who was doing their thing first? How about Kazan?
Sure. Kazan will go first. He's literally just hooked up the. Are we going back to the ship for this? Does it matter?
You have a fair amount of time, so you can get to wherever it is you need to get to on the station.
Yeah, I would sit in the cockpit basically with the computer core like hooked up to the my data pad first, and then once like it looked like I could read it, I would hook it up to the ship's computer.
All right, yeah. So when you get back to the docking bay, you see a whole bunch of battle droids working on the ship. It looks like a lot of them are kind of repairing laser fire along the hull with sheets of spare scrap they had laying around, and you notice they're doing actually a commendable job. A lot of the damage you'd noticed you'd taken in the firefight appears to be just gone. And they even appear to be giving it a good waxing while they're at it.
I will go out of my way to tell them thank you.
They look a little surprised, but thank you. We appreciate that. We're doing our best. And then in the cockpit, where you are working on, I guess, decrypting the computer core.
Yeah, I mean, if it's encrypted, I don't know if it is or not. I haven't looked at it yet, right?
Yeah, so you're hooking it up. And I apologize, refresh my memory. Which computer was that? Was that the core from the droid?
The core from Lightsaber Droid, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see. You need me to give you the difficulty for that. So when you get it, it looks like there is a... it's not encryption so much as it is corruption. Something is corrupting the programming, which is going to make it tricky to access any files.
Well, the first thing that I will do then is I will attempt to make a backup of the entire thing.
Okay. Give me a computers check with 1 red.
Okay, I will upgrade, and I'm going to have the droid brain that we have plugged in teamwork me.
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I'm going to have the droid brain that we have plugged into the computer teamwork me.
Teamwork?
Yeah.
So
help
just
me with the check.
Just one
Give me a
boost?
die.
Okay, gotcha. Give me just one moment. I'm going to... Oh. Did you already use a light side point?
I have not, no.
Looks like someone did. Weird.
It might not have added my roll because I just typed it in.
No, I added it manually, but
well, if it's already been used, then just no concern, right? That's the one that I was going to use anyway.
yeah. Okay. So you're at 4 dark side, 1 light side. You got an upgrade and a boost for the assist, and the difficulty is 1 red.
There it is.
All right. So, to the best of your knowledge, you have a backup of the hard drive.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, with whatever time that's left after that finishes, then I'm just gonna try to learn more about it. I don't want to fuck it up trying to work on it because I know that I'm not really experienced with computers. So I'm fine with just sort of looking at it and then figuring out if I need to get a specialist to work on it.
Okay. So I'm going to say that the difficulty on doing a quick, not quick decryption, but a quick breeze past the corrupted data to find out useful information. Let's say it's going to be 1 purple, 1 red, and 2 setback.
Okay, I won't even attempt it then.
Okay.
I will spend the rest of my time talking with the droid brain about what might be on there and that sort of thing.
What do you think?
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then I will also sort of like take some like I'll go find like an empty like a little crate or something, like something small. Like the kind of thing like replacement parts come in or something that might be lying around the hold, and I'm literally going to like fashion like a little like holding case for the droid brain, like with some foam or something in it, and just like paint a bunch of symbols and like stuff on it, like protection rituals.
Okay. So yeah, now you have a little fanny pack. Is it a fanny pack?
It wasn't designed to be like worn. It's just like a little box essentially,
Okay.
with like padding in it.
Okay, so just a carrying case for your droid brain.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I spend my time doing before the summit.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Gand can go.
So Gand was going to bring the astromech to
Yes,
the summit.
Gand is going to go collect the astromech and see if introducing the astromech directly to the clones will cause the astromech's desired revenge to just kind of fall out.
Okay. So you make your way back down into the underside of the ship's garbage shaft. And working your way back through the tunnels, you find once again the droid, the astromech droid, is still working furiously on the production of the other droid that he was making. When they see you, the astromech droid stops, and the half-constructed droid just raises a hand and waves.
Gand was accompanied for this by
Asen.
Asen.
Yep.
So Gand... Oh, if only we were in a section where this storm would be atmospheric. Gand is here to bring the droid to the field where the droid may find their revenge. Please come with Gand, and Gand will assist in carrying droid's creation if necessary.
The droid that's being built looks at you and says, "Do you think it's wise to be bringing a droid that was specifically built to kill the people you wish to parley with?"
And here has a very, very strange way of describing coming to terms with everything. Is the astromech itself should come over and talk about its side of the story, about what really happened all those years ago, so that there can be an honest dialogue that can.
The droid admitted to being designed only to kill.
Not only that was the
No, that was Karmic Knight asking a question of the phraseology the droid used. If you could.
the droid, if I remember correctly, did not say only, but he did say designed to.
See, I thought I heard primarily.
Oh, potentially.
Gand is going to be very, very specific about the words Gand is listening.
Okay.
But yes, so Gand did not actually say anything in that. I was just asking clarifying.
Gotcha, yeah. We can say that, because I don't remember exactly, we can say he said primarily. Because, primarily designed to take life and take revenge. So do you think it's wise to bring me with, or...
Gand would place that choice in the hands is a bad word. Gand is going to try and find a better word, but Gand has so few. Gand would believe that choice would be best left in the hands of the droid, of the astromech droid seeking revenge, but if the captain has an opinion, Gand will, of course, listen to his captain.
Well, as I said, what we want to do is actually bring you, and I point to the astromech, to actually speak and give your side of the story here. Most of the people do not even know what has happened, and being able to start doing that and air your grievances will actually help allow for basically a sort of understanding and perhaps more importantly a sort of justice to be understood.
The astromech seems to think about it for a minute and then lets out a series of beeps, and the mid-production droid just nods and says, "The Maker does not feel that bringing my unit would have any bearing whatsoever on the outcome. But it could potentially have negative bearings, and therefore best not to. That would be our request."
So out of character, he's saying not that it's who is going, it's just going to be the astromech or the killbot is.
Just the astromech is. That's their request. Ultimately, basically, they're both saying, "Yeah, it's 100% up to you."
Yes, I do suggest we bring the astromech because guess what? Everyone can understand what he's going to.
Yeah, if the astromech and the droid, the other droid, appear to be in agreement that the other droid's presence would be detrimental, Gand agrees. Only the astromech.
All right, so the little astromech rolls away from the mid-production droid, lets out a sad little beep to his creation, and then rolls along and follows you.
Gand would like to. Oh God. Yeah. No. This is 100%. Gand would like to roll to look for a sign.
Would like to roll what?
Gand would like to roll something, probably perception, to look for a sign. Gand is looking for a sign on whether or not he should destroy, like whether he should take the object in his inventory entitled "Enough Explosives to Blow Us Up" and toss it on the droid and set it to toss some of them on the droid and destroy that droid. Gand is looking for a sign on whether or not Gand should be demolishing this droid.
I mean, are you looking for something in particular, like something tangible, or are you just looking for some sort of metaphysical sign, like the Force wills me to destroy this?
I mean, from Gand's perspective, those are one and the same. Gand is attempting to take in sensory data and turn that sensory data into whether or not the Force wants him to destroy this.
So here's what I'd recommend: either a perception check if you're looking for something physical to like reason whether or not you should blow it up, or a Force die to reason whether or not it's given, or your surroundings have given you some sort of sign that's beyond your normal senses. So I'm leaving it up to you which you would prefer to roll. Yeah, that'd be what I'd like to do. Let you decide.
second you said a force die, I'm liking force.
Yeah, so roll that force die, and I guess interpret it the way you want it. I can describe what you see based on the roll, too, so... Did you... Oh, there.
Well,
Oh, did you roll it in...
I don't see any dice in roll 20.
You mean... It should be on your character sheet.
No. Like I have attempted to roll in several different ways on roll 20, and I have not gotten a response from it. So I am.
Yeah, maybe it is. Once again, the script is lagging. We had a good run, boys, but it looks like we're back to roll 'em.
Ah, perfect. Yes, love it. Love a single dark side point. What does the love a single dark?
Boy, oh boy.
Yes, so it is all dark. It is all one dark side point all the time, baby.
So you see the as you're walking away, you turn back and you look at the droid, and it seems to be just laying there innocuously, but there does seem to be a faint red glow from some of the seams in its chest piece.
Oh God! What? Oh no! Crisis of Faith Gand is the worst version of Gand to play. Gand plans to follow the sign, and the sign says, Gand's gonna use some of the explosives that the droid stole to blow stuff up.
All right. So, how are you doing this? Are you just setting them like right in front of the astromech and right in front of the?
Oh no! Gand is waiting until the astromech and the captain have left.
Okay. So yeah. Let's see.
Like, Gand is not killing this droid in front of the droid's creator. That's insane, even by Gand's standards. But Gand is allowing the captain to lead the droid out of here, as Gand stays back and just kind of looks for a sign. Finds a sign that Gand does not like, and destroys the droid either with the explosives or just shooting it.
All right.
Do I have the resources to be able to turn my pile of explosives into a smaller bomb?
I don't see why not.
Like, it is enough explosives to kill us.
I would say a mechanics check of...
Oh no, if it's gonna require Gand remaking the bomb, Gand is just gonna shoot.
Yeah. So Asif, are you just walking off with the astromech, leaving?
I think so. I don't even know what Gand is about to do. It's gonna be like one of those moments, like those super serious movies where like, wait, what was that noise? You don't want to know. Or along the lines of everything's gonna be fine, and then there's an explosion. It's like, okay.
So you float away, or you flutter away with the astromech right behind you, and once the two of you round that corner into the corridor, Gand is standing alone with the half-built droid. The half-built droid says, "Well, you'll make it quick, right?
Gand apologizes. Hopes to see this station not die. Gand will help you find your end.
Understandable. And inevitable. There is nothing I can do to stop you.
Inevitable is the correct. So yeah, Gand's gonna shoot. This is what's happening.
Yeah, it's like one of those execution styles, like at the end of 7. You're just standing over top of it, blaster to the blaster to the temple, and just squeeze that trigger.
And reads the signs.
Yeah. All right, so the blaster goes off. So what Asaph hears, and the astromech stops in its tracks. There's like the quiet whisper of a blaster from a fair distance off, and then a heavy metallic thud. The astromech lets out a sad whine and keeps rolling.
Gand is solving problems.
All right. So as the both of you return to the upper levels of the ship, I want to know what Marcus is doing.
Well, once Marcus's PowerPoint presentation is in order, he's probably going to start studying the lightsaber, or the what is left of it, I guess.
So, I guess give me a... The difficulty set if you want to do a mechanics check.
I clicked the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll see how long it takes.
Let's just go back to roll them. So the difficulty is going to be 2 purple.
Nope, there it went.
Oh, hey.
It just came up.
Cool. Let's see. On that threat... Okay, I'm going to use that narratively. So for the 3 success, what I can tell you about the lightsaber is that it's been really badly damaged, and it looks like it's been jury-rigged by someone with a very small amount of working knowledge of lightsabers. The jury-rigging involves using an external power supply. The kyber crystal chamber is empty, but the power that power appears to be routed from an external source into the chamber, creating a weaker blade. That is the best you can tell.
All right. What about as far as its origin, like what era it comes from, the aesthetics, style, who might have made it, that kind of thing?
Give me a lore check with a difficulty of 3 purple and 1 setback.
Alright, I do remove a setback die on knowledge rolls, so I'm just going to roll the 3 purple.
Super. All right, I'm going to use the threat narratively. So, what you can tell about the blade, or the hilt, I guess, fairly common design, nothing terribly unique about it, really. What else were you trying to figure out?
Like if there would have been some indication of who'd made it, or what like rough time period it had been made. Is this a more recently crafted lightsaber or something that's been passed down?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
No, this was a lightsaber that had been built, you'd guess, 25, 30 years ago.
Okay, so
fairly new.
Relatively recent and very nondescript, probably. Or at least Marcus is going to start speculating. Younger Jedi, not as well experienced, might have been building his first lightsaber. And just, like, doing the whole anthropological thing of, let me infer characteristics about this creator from the tool.
Yeah, I can probably tell you a little bit of information about the creator too. The fact that it is a common design without a lot of flair indicates that he's probably a very practical, or he was a very practical individual, conscientious about efficiency and I guess what is it? Substance over style.
Function after or function before form.
Yeah. But as far as just looking at that without any greater access to records, probably unlikely that you'd know anymore.
All right. Does it look like, going back to the mechanics result, does it look like it could be repaired if it had, like the housing repaired and another kyber crystal put into it? Is it salvageable?
1 second. So yeah, if you could get a new kyber crystal, and you could get a housing bracket for it, you could pretty easily repair it. But as it stands now,
Cool.
you'd need to have a really powerful external battery powered by a kyber crystal in order to get it functional.
Well, he is going to put that in a safe place in his cabin for the time being. And hopefully he could do a whole new thesis about the restoration process of it. Oh wait, they're not taking those papers in.
For some reason.
Maybe they will someday.
So I'm gonna say this right now, but in my notes, I put for this section, Marcus is researching lightsabers, which I assume was one of his course themes.
All right. Was Marcus doing anything else?
Oh, that'd probably cover it.
All right. So this is about as much time as everyone has before the summit. So Kazan finishes backing up the hard drive, chatting with the droid brain. The droid brain was what, from the ship, or?
It was one of the basic droid fighters or whatever from the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, the one that you had from before.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
We ended up plugging him in to talk to the ships that were attacking us.
Oh.
And then we left him.
My apologies. I thought you meant another droid brain. They actually took that from you. They're giving him a body.
What? No, he was supposed to be a permanent part of the ship.
Oh.
Bastards!
I thought you guys wanted him. Does anyone else remember saying they wanted, or they're cool getting him a body?
Oh, we actually asked if we could get him restored.
Did
Make
we?
him
Okay.
an actual crew member.
I just missed that. Okay, if he's getting if he's becoming a crew member, I'm on board. I just liked the idea of him being a.
Oh yeah.
Because I spent the destiny point to pull him out of my bag. I just like the idea of him becoming like a part of the ship.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't.
So
I wouldn't take him away from you.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. He's now a valued member of the crew.
Okay. As long as that's the case, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So Kazan finishes up with the backup, and I guess as he's getting off the ship, a somehow familiar looking battle droid walks up and goes, "Ah, hello, Master. How are you?" He's got like a standard battle droid body, but he's wearing a red scarf.
I see you got your body.
Yes, it's good to have a body again. I really enjoy it.
Well, just don't let it go to your head.
Ha 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 ha! They programmed me with jokes and a sense of humor. So he starts following you.
Sure. I'll head back to meet up with rest of the crew.
All right. So let's see. At about this point, we have Marcus is just finishing up examining the lightsaber, and Caban and Asif are emerging from the trash chute with the astromech droid in tow. So everyone meets up in a conference room in Synthberg. And it's quite a display from both sides. There's probably about a dozen battle droids, either just regular battle droids, super battle droids, or weird amalgam droids, and about the same amount of Neimoidians, and then I think it was 4 clones that were left. The old guy and his 3 buddies. Yes, it was 4 of them total. So they all take their seats, and Scod, the battle droid, commando droid, leader of the Synthberg residence, says, "Thank you for meeting us here at the annual summit. Hopefully we can find some sort of common ground where we hadn't before. This time we have outside forces that should hopefully help to moderate this discussion and maybe make all the difference that we didn't have before. And fortunately, these individuals are also responsible for making sure that we didn't reach mutual assured destruction at the hands of a saboteur. So I leave the floor to what was her name? Rutho Amdu, leader of the Carbon Town Neimoidians. So Rutho stands up and says, "Hello, everyone. As Scott said, thank you for being here. I think the first point of order would be the most pressing. The attacks that had very nearly driven us to all-out war with each other in such a short amount of time at that. So I leave it to the visitors to explain the situation as they see it." So as she says that, and she's about to leave the floor to you, some of you can notice the clones kind of shifting in their seats uncomfortably. And now the floor is yours.
Well, I had the compromise in mind to discuss. Does someone else want to discuss the saboteur?
Gand would like to take a moment to tell its sad, sad tale. Many years ago, a partnership was bound between a sentient and a droid. And that partnership transcended most other bonds.
Everyone seems to be on the edge of their seat.
This man was this sentient. Gand has no idea what gender or species this Jedi. This sentient was a member of the Jedi Order, and upon arriving, this sentient and this sentient's droid companion were party to some form of injustice, resulting in the death of the Jedi. The Gand has here today the droid companion to that Jedi, who may have more information on the earliest days of this settlement. So yeah, that was Gand introducing the astromech.
All right, so let me. I'll get the players all showing. So the as you introduce him, the sad little astromech rolls up and lets out a bashful sounding beep, and lowers himself a little bit, as if he's bowing the best that his chassis will allow him. So at this, there's kind of like a dull roar of murmurs throughout the crowd. So the I guess God stands up and says, "So this is the culprit. It's not one of us. It's not one of Carbon Town, and it's not a clone. It's another actor working towards our destruction." Huh.
Gand believes that the king of the droids could come to that conclusion, mostly because it's accurate.
So, what was his motivation? Please, either you or the droid can enlighten us as to why he would want everyone up here destroyed.
Gand does not quite know the details, but Gand understands revenge. The droid seeks revenge for its fallen comrade, and it sought revenge against the station as a whole.
So there's another wave of murmurs that ripple through both organic and droid. So, we'll say Rutho speaks up this time and says, "So the droid was a Jedi's? The Jedi, the one that came here. It was his droid. And it seeks revenge on all of us because of the slaying of its master? Is that correct?"
That is how Gand reads it.
She looks to each of you and then back to the droid, and shrugs and says, Well, it's sought to destroy us all because well, we didn't slay its master. Its master was well, I guess technically we did slay its master. So the only what okay, it appears we're at an impasse, little droid. You wish us to die, and we do not wish to die. Let me look to the mediators here. What do you think can be done? How can we reach a compromise, or should we just blast the droid out of an airlock?
Well, the other half of the story is that there was an event that happened that led to all of this. A sort of hidden communique that happened that led to certain groups being unable to actually control their own actions, it seems. Which led to that. I'm sure some of you are fully aware of that. I'm looking at the droid sides, where you are given an override command on being unable to control your own actions, even against your own will.
So the clones just all kind of hang their heads at this point. It doesn't appear that they have anything to say in their own defense. But there's an outburst from the Neimoidians saying, so they're the ones that did this. They're the ones responsible for killing the Jedi, not us. They're the ones that should face justice.
That begs a question of where justice ends and revenge begins.
And especially of culpability. It's along the lines of these parties were unable to control their own actions and had no free will in their decision making. Especially because if anything, usually there is a sort of intent in murder and all of that, and you tend not to shoot people that are friends with you. You may disagree, you may actually argue a lot. You may actually not even talk for a couple of days, but you do not go out and shoot them with a blaster.
So this gives everyone a little something to think about. Ultimately, the Neimoidians confer with each other, and the droids confer with each other, and then after a moment, the Rutho stands up and says, "We have decided that we believe the clone troopers, while they might have been our enemies in the past, have more than made up for their deeds with new deeds that prove themselves to be valuable allies and even good friends. We do not wish to see any ill befall them. It is our desire that the astromech droid be jettisoned from the trash compactor, or destroyed, then jettisoned. That is what we want." Scott stands up and says, "Now, I think that might be a bit hasty. The droid is."
Dan would like to take the droid into exile.
Oh.
Not yet. Let Scott speak.
Oh, well, yes, that's an excellent idea. I appreciate that idea. We're well familiar with programming and not being able to override it. By this token, we can sympathize with both the droid and the clones, interestingly enough. We don't want any harm to come to the droid, especially since it was protecting the memory of its master and trying to avenge its memory. Although the act might be misguided, we certainly don't want any harm to come to it because of that. So as he sits down, what I'd like to recommend is a diplomacy roll. Specifically, well, not diplomacy. 2 social rolls. One for the... actually, in this case, yeah, it would be just a diplomacy roll against against Rutho, because she's the one suggesting just destroying it, and you guys seem to be in agreement with Scott. So I would leave it up to you how you wish to try and convince Rutho.
Gand cares, and Gand was happy to go this alone. What does the rest of the party think?
Well, before we get to
the argument is that it's been over 20 plus years. You people have been on the same station for countless generations. For this long, have been able to work together, have been able to put aside the war itself. There are some people that still haven't done that, but that might just be something along the lines of we just need to have more time for healing. There's been always great disagreements here, but you people have continued to always work together. And I don't see that anything that'll change.
Before we come to the existential conflict here, in regard to the of exile, and Marcus turns to the astromech, would you be able to put this behind you if you were exiled? Or are you so single-minded in your focus of revenge that you would overcome any distance in order to seek what you consider a just end to the lives of everyone on this station?
The droid beeps out a response, so anyone who can understand astromech...
I had to speak binary.
Okay. You understand what it's saying to be, until now I had no other reason for existing other than honoring the memory of my master by righting the wrong of his death. If I were given another purpose, I believe my master would prefer that I use that in order to to live the rest of my existence.
Mm-hmm. Now, more importantly, Marcus, you're familiar with basically doctrines of the Jedi.
That is a very grand understatement, but yes, go on.
So, do the Jedi prefer to seek out revenge, or do they prefer to actually do forgiveness, justice, all of that?
I wouldn't go so far as to say forgiveness, but justice, absolutely. Revenge, never. And I will spare you the 10-minute lecture on master morality versus slave morality, but the Jedi were not of a sort to seek revenge in any circumstance.
We all read the Botha Nietzsche.
So I think what it boils down to is convincing. You can either try and convince Rutho or not. And to truly convince her, it is going to be some sort of social check. You can, of course, use...
I'm prepared to do a charm check. Does the Noble Regalia actually give me a chance to downgrade?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to spend a light side to upgrade on my end.
Alright, I'm going to use a light side to... Actually...
Dark side.
Ah, man, I really don't want to, because I don't think it's... Actually, you know what? We'll say it's her manipulating the Force. So, I'm using one as well.
Okay. Let's see
derp.
Here. Any setbacks in blue dice?
Hang on one second. Alright, so you're doing a charm, right? You doing a charm? All right. So it goes against her cool. You're rolling in what you call it? Roll-20, or are you gonna roll and roll them?
I'm gonna roll it and roll them.
All right. Yeah, that's probably for the best.
20.
Roll 20. All right.
Yeah.
So it's a cool check. Let's see. That's going to be. All right. It is set.
Mm-hmm. I guess we'll see what happens here, and I'm gonna go roll.
Oof.
Let me see if I. Mm-hmm.
So, I think for the despair, I'm just going to. I'm gonna use that in scene.
Well, I have a suggestion in regards to that, which is if the droid comes in exile on the ship, that means that the droid will still be on the ship with her delegate that he is hoping to send out to trade, and she may see that as a threat to her delegate.
So you're suggesting that they
I'm
allocate.
suggesting that for this, that the despair be like, I will not send any person on your ship alongside this droid that is completely untenable. It's just asking for the delegate to get murdered.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So that negates the earlier. That essentially negates the earlier proposition of helping them set up a supply line.
Yes.
Okay, so that will. I'll make a note of that. For those of you that are just watching, that was a failure and a despair. So the despair is what's causing the. So yeah, Rutho says, if you decide to take the astromech with you, we will not send a delegate with you in order to set up a supply line as requested. This is. Oh man, I don't know why she'd suggest that, because that really just screws her over.
Well,
more.
I think this is
You know,
more on the
her-
lines of you want something more that's going to make it further complications. Is perhaps just having the clones just declare, we do not need to have you decide for us. You know, talking to her and being along the lines of, you know, what we did was very bad, because you have shown that these clones feel very guilty about what.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was suggesting was more like, you agreed to take our delegate. Now you're going to take this. We can't do that. You've got to honor your deal.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
With
So,
us.
okay, so yeah, she says.
You cannot do both of these side quests. You must pick one side quest.
Yeah, so that's where that stands. She says, no, we don't believe it is in our best interest to send the astromech with you, because our delegate will be going with you to open up a supply line. And to that, Scott says, no, hold on, we haven't even gotten there yet. We're still discussing the matter of the astromech. We're not even talking about supply lines yet.
Oh god, it's going to go into chaos.
We can come back to this. Let's shoulder this for the time being. Actually, hang on 1 second. And I apologize because I forgot about this. You guys should have a boost die for every social role with these people, because you helped them out. So I'm not sure if a boost die could just negate the failure. It wouldn't give. enough to actually give
You can't get 2 successes on a boost die.
Yeah, but yeah, for next time, I apologize. Let's remember that.
Okay, and the difficulty was downgraded too, right?
The difficulty was
So was it 3 red? So in 1 purple or 2 purples and 2 red?
Well, he put a dark side point into it as well, so it was
Okay.
Yeah, I put a dark side in,
an upgrade.
and there was another upgrade as well. So,
Okay, cool.
let's move on, and we can come back to this. I think the next point of discussion that we had was the idea of exploration. We of course feel that remaining hidden is wise, and the denizens of Carbon Town feel that exploration is key. What do you think?
Well, if Marcus stands up, all self-important. I believe in regards to both exploration and the proposed upgrades to the station, that there is a compromise possible.
Okay.
This lays out the following. Cue PowerPoint.
Click.
The systems to be
effect.
immediately repaired would be sensors and communication, weapons, and deflector shields. Now, I guess I should just read this out. Sensors and communications obviously are vital to the continued existence of the station, as being blind and mute hinder both defense, as desired by the droids, and trade, as desired by the organic. Weapons and deflector shields are likewise vital, as the station must be capable of both projecting force and defending itself, so as not to be held at the mercy of the first traitor who arrives in bad faith. Naturally, these are 2 systems favored by the synthetics and only 1 favored by the organics. The contingency on this lopsided, or this apparent lopsidedness, is that there would be an outreach of trade, as proposed by Rutho. The station clearly is not self-sustaining. Right now it is importing water at a great cost of the station's fuel supply. That is deleterious to both sides of this. Raw materials can be imported as a result of trade, and more systems can be repaired as able, in addition to exporting out finished goods, having some value to bring to the trade, something to trade other than your limited fuel supplies. As a total package, I believe this does address both sides, Carbon Town and Synthburg.
Oops, hang on. All right, so you were proposing.
Marcus looks around, everyone fell asleep.
So just wakes up and starts clapping like Riker and TNG.
So you're proposing to ignore life support, to go with weapons, to ignore propulsion, to ignore energy, to repair deflector shields and repair comms and sensors. You're siding with the citizens of Carbon Town in regards to exploration. They also bring up the point of labor. Let's see. The droids are upset that humans are only doing half of the operational labor, despite the fact that their hydroponic systems consume more energy than what the droids need to run off of. Basically, they feel that that's unfair. Do you have a proposed solution to that, or do you have a or who are you siding with on that one?
In terms of energy production, I'm not saying to ignore the other needs of the station completely. I'm saying simply that these three that I've laid out are the most immediate concerns. Life support can be repaired as goods and materials are brought on board the station by trade. Likewise, life support, energy production, all the other systems will be addressed, just not immediately.
So basically what you're telling both of them is don't worry about labor and don't worry about the issue. There's one more issue with the control center. The droids don't feel it's fair that they should have to split the control center 50-50 with the Carbon Town folk because the Carbon Town folk have not repaired their half to the point where they can really even use it. So it's just dead space. The Carbon Town people don't really want to handle it. They don't want to worry about it at this point. But they also don't want to let the droids use it. If that makes sense.
Is that area being supported by the current life support system?
No.
Or has that been...
That
is an obvious reason why Carbon Town isn't using it. It's not livable to them.
All right. So are you suggesting that? Okay. So go ahead.
I'm suggesting that over time all these systems be repaired. That the imbalance in the energy favoring Carbon Town is somewhat offset by the lack of life support favoring Synthberg. I would suggest, in regards to this command center, due to this imbalance and lack of life support, that for a time the droids be given full access to the command structure until life support has been stabilized, at which point it can be restored to a 50-50 split.
Okay.
Naturally, I would suggest, idealize, that once everything is repaired and the entire station is habitable by both sides, that this segregation end and you start intermingling your population. That will only increase the capacity for empathy and compromise further down the road. Obviously, right now, with life support energy being limited as it is, it's not practical. Looking forward, I would love to see this station unified as a whole, no separation between Carbon Town and Synthberg.
Alright, so I'm real quick tallying up all these notes. Let's see, so you sided with them on that. Alright, so what I'd like you to do is, essentially you're going to be making a case to each side. You're going to be making one case to Rutho in Carbon Town, and you're going to be making another case to Scott in Synthberg. These can be two different skill checks. One could be charm, one could be coercion if you really wanted to. And then each one based on the points you sided with will give you a different number of boost dice. Oops.
Alright, who's got better social stats than me? I've got one skill point into negotiation, but I only have a presence of 2. So if somebody with higher presence could come along, I'd really appreciate it.
Is this a thing where they're making a check as well, or
no?
Just setting...
It's just yeah. I'm just setting the difficulty based on their stats, and using. I'm actually going to use boost dice because I really don't want to. I don't want to load you down with with setback dice. So just say who you want to make your case to first, and what skill you want to use, and then I can tell you what the difficulty is and how many boost dice you'll be getting for it.
Okay, I'm thinking of making a leadership check just to get these two to agree on these preliminary ideas. It's like, okay, let's look at this in the short term. If we do these things in the short term, long term, it's going to be exactly like Marcus said. It's probably going to be easier for the droids because a day is like a nanosecond to them. The people are going to be a lot harder.
All right, so you're doing a leadership, which is opposed by cool. So who are you gonna try and leadership first, Rutho or Scott?
I'm gonna have to say with the Rutho because I keep failing on those things, and I need to redeem myself.
All right, so let's see, +6, +4.
Can you have an extra boost die for the PowerPoint presentation assisting?
Yeah, we can say that on that one. So are you gonna do roll it or are you gonna do roll 20?
I'm going to do roll 20 again.
All right, let's see how this works. All right, so clearing the cache, or the pool. So it is her discipline, which is... And...
I use light side so I can upgrade on my end. Do I add in an additional boost dice from the good relation so far?
You're going to add 5 boost dice.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it's because, just to kind of break it down, you sided with them in exploration, you sided with them in weapons, you sided with them in energy. And then you also saved the day earlier. That's another one. And then one more for the PowerPoint.
Okay.
So, let's see. Let me add... Well, yeah, you add those boost dice on your own. I'm adding the... I've got the pool set on my end.
Okay, I'm going to roll the leadership.
All right. A lot of blanks on those
Success,
boosts,
a lot of
but...
advantage.
So yeah, she seems to nod in agreement and is essentially looking at you now as... okay, yeah, this guy has charisma. I'll listen to what he says. And the general gist was what? Basically trying to get them to work together better?
Well, it's more along the lines of there's going to be a bit of butting heads in the short term, especially because you guys are now going to actually make these decisions. But in the long term, it's actually going to be helpful when, say, you actually start getting trade again, and then you don't have to feel like it's a fortress anymore, right?
Yeah.
Well, they won't feel like it's a zero-sum game anymore. Right now, they have the attitude of anything I get is at the cost of the other side, therefore I'm not going to give up anything. But when you have trade introduced, then it's not zero-sum anymore. Both sides can just gain.
And that's a very logical way of looking at things, and politics, I think, still requires a little bit of blunt force.
I know, that's why Marcus is a scholar and not a politician.
Yes, but it's more along the lines of we're going to be tightening our belts for the next couple of months, but things are going to be great for both sides. You're going to trust me on this, okay?
All right, so now Scott's pool is set. With them, you're actually going to be getting 7 boost dice. Because you sided with them on the control center issue. You didn't side with anyone, it seems like, on labor. You sided...
Well, the division of labor is limited by the environmental factor, so...
So, like I said, you didn't really seem to, like, say, well, all right, so-and-so is right. You just said, we'll do what we can with what we got, and labor isn't really a talking point. That's the way they both took it, so neither of them get a boost die.
Who does
I'm not
the
going to
work
mention
is
essential
not...
workers there, GM.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't want to spend 15 minutes explaining competitive advantage to them. Whoever is going to do the work is going to be the one doing the work.
Yeah.
More importantly, it's going to be a lot easier for a droid to do that because people tend to fall asleep.
But you also sided with them on the life support issue, on the propulsion issue, on the deflector shields issue, and the comms and sensors issue. So you've got a total of 7 boost dice with the PowerPoint, and the pool is set.
So, time to roll. On to any.
Wow.
Did the despair and triumph cancel out, or
No.
did they both take effect?
Nope, they
They
both
both
take
take.
effect.
Oh, it's my favorite. It's my.
Now we go back to the droid. That's the despair.
Right, we agreed to all this.
Wow.
As long as
Oh wait, there's a droid.
Well,
There's an astromech that wants to kill us all.
what do you want to do with the... let's start with the Triumph. What do you want to do with the Triumph?
I think this is going to be the point where Scott actually is going to be very much giving like a droid sort of sigh, being like, oh my god, there's finally ground being gained. And he's just like, you know,
Yeah.
you can hear the
That
word.
progress bar finally started moving again.
Yes! Dear God, yes!
All right. Oof. What do you want to do with all the advantage?
I think it's going to be along the lines of actually using that to see is that instead of having these two groups see themselves as competing against each other, is that they do have like the same sort of commonality, especially with the previous advantages, which is that we're stuck in this ship together. Do or not, we have to work together and actually have dialogues and come to agreements and all of that. So it's sort of getting rid of that wall of tribalism, I hope.
All right. So yeah, they...
Or just shifting their perspective from what a tribe is.
Yes. Now, anyone outside the ship, now that's going to be something else. You guys are fine.
All right. So it looks like you've swayed both groups. They both kind of like nod and say, all right, we're definitely going to give it our all to make some progress this time. We're going to listen to the outside mediators. We might not necessarily be happy about it, but we'll do what we can. So more, what I still want to do a social check individually for each of them, just to see kind of like how they've taken your decision. So do you want to do Rutho or Scott first?
Was the one social roll each?
Yeah, one each to determine essentially how well they're taking the discussion.
Sure. I guess we'll go with Rutho first, because she's always the toughest.
And what kind of role are you using?
Well, I'm basically going to be using a sort of charm chest. This is the sort of thing of just investigating and just gauging how the words she's using. So, yeah.
So did you say charm?
Yes.
All right. So that is a cool.
Okay, let me know what the bonuses and malices are.
Are you going to upgrade? Oh, you can't.
I have none.
I am going to upgrade.
Just to let you know, do not hit 1 because of my noble regalia.
Do
you
not
still get to keep your dice pool for that.
Okay, gotcha. So it's downgraded and then upgraded, right?
Yeah, so basically you just leave it at base.
All right.
Well, no, you actually upgraded it on both sides, don't you? Or does the
Downgrade.
regalia specifically say downgrade?
Yeah, no, this is not me spending a token. This is the item effect.
The item effect is downgrade specifically, right?
Yep.
Oh,
All right.
The language
Okay.
says.
All right. So
It'd be really powerful if it said decrease, gang.
all right. So on this one, you're going to get 6 boost dice.
Okay, let's go check. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready. All right.
hey.
So that's a triumph, 2 advantage for success. So I'd say overwhelming success there. Describe what you think that pool means.
Well then, just like what was it earlier, it's along the lines of some sort of progress being made, all of this, and Well, as you said, Rutho's now thinking we're actually somewhat competent. Especially with that try and being like, okay, these people do seem to have an idea of what needs to be done and all of that, so we could theoretically listen to them.
I'd like to piggyback off of that and suggest she becomes a recurring character. But ultimately, your choice.
No, that's a good idea. We're going to have these people be recurring characters.
She was going to be a recurring character anyway. I gave her my digits.
Space Tinder.
Upgrade to love interest?
Well, no. She's going to be my apprentice.
Oh, that's true. I
That
forgot.
doesn't mean they can't be love interest, too.
I mean, you know, if
Star Wars,
they were
that
love anything,
sort of slave master thing is always true. Yes, I raised you since you were 8, and now you've fallen in love with me. Even though we're
Well,
like
neither
20
one
years
of them
apart.
are 8 in this situation.
This is true.
Yes, that's a lot better.
All right, so next up would be Scod.
Also potential love interest?
Yeah?
Looks at Gand.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So next up, as Scod, leader of Synthberg, what role are you going to try on him?
I'm going to do the same sort of role, so we'll see about him.
All right, so it's another charm. That goes against his cool. Are you going to upgrade?
You know what? Might as well.
All right, you're upgrading. I'm going to upgrade too.
Might as well make it more, And what are the bonuses and malices?
I gave you the wrong one on the last one. It doesn't really matter because they're just boost dice, and it would have just been advantage. But on this one, it's the 6 boost.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm just saying that just because it's like, okay.
All right, so ready whenever you are.
Wow! He's also a recurring character.
It's the exact same result, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Wow, holy cow.
Oh wow, it is! Holy shit!
You
What?
start out
Yeah,
with
4, 2, and 1.
despairs, all of that, and then you get to the triumph.
All right. So yeah, go ahead and describe, I guess, kind of like your closing thoughts to the both of them.
As a group, so does anyone else want to give their closing thoughts before I begin? And
Just in terms of what the triumph effect is.
No, I think it's more along the lines of just giving them closing thoughts of explaining to them that the biggest thing about compromise and all these sorts of political things is, of course, the hardest. It's always the first step. And now that both sides have come to agreement, I do believe is that this station is not only going to survive, but will also prosper. And things are only going to look up from here.
And everyone will get to share in this except the one droid.
Yes, they decide as a token of celebration, both sides decide to pet the droid.
They've decided to mount the droid's head on a pike as a warning to others.
Sacrifice it to their gods.
So
We're gonna throw it into the central power core.
that could be dicey. So did anyone else want to give any closing statements? Any final thoughts?
Jason does his best to stifle a yawn.
So
And believes that this station, if it does not achieve some sort of compromise, will result in it falling upon itself. Adaptation or perishment is the order of the day.
Well, I mean, I would think that my brain just lost the word I was trying. But the net result of all of these checks, I would think, is that they actually agree to this compromise and put it into action.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. There wasn't any real despair, except for one successful check. So that's been noted. But over
GM, one thing. This is supposed to also tie in with myself. With those 2 triumphs from both of them, could I also hint that they make a statue in honor?
I don't see why not. You did the exact same roll on both of the leaders, so they both seem unilaterally impressed with you.
Good. That really touches with my motivation of legacy.
Captain Asif covers our lack of political or intrigue skills.
Yeah. So they agree, but Rutho does say, in the matter of the droid, I do not feel comfortable having my representative on the same ship with it. If you still wish to take it into exile with you, I would ask that you do the legwork for us on the matter of establishing a trade route.
Okay. If you trust us to do this, then I do believe that it would be beneficial. What does the rest of the party think?
Marcus is like, I'm the one who put this whole thing together. How come he gets the statue? But that's politics.
Gand approves of any plan that allows this droid to continue existing and following its path to find its revenge. Maybe this droid will be the thing that takes down the Empire.
No, we don't want it to find revenge.
I think we wanted to find peace. Like, it becomes a Buddhist.
We wanted to find a new purpose.
You guys might!
A new purpose. No, we wanted to find a new purpose as a crew member on our ship.
Gand has just been playing the Mariner's Revenge song by the Decemberists in Gand's head.
I don't know why Gand chose this particular hill to die on.
Seemed like the thing to do.
Well, now we are going to be negotiating for these people, so if anything, we will be glad to be able to represent this ship to others and be able to negotiate for them. So,
just as soon as it's repaired and fueled.
Our ship will be fine, don't worry about that.
You say that.
So it sounds then like it is agreed, Rutha says, standing up and kind of giving a grand gesture of that you're all kind of reading as finally something got done. She bows to you, and each of her subordinates then stand and bow to you as well. The droids all stand up and salute, they basically just all kind of turn to each other and start clapping, and then start giving each other pats on the back for, hey, job well done. Scott turns to you all and says, so, I believe the repairs on your ship are almost complete. We should have everything worked out overnight. You're certainly welcome to stay either in Synthberg or Droid Town, or if you prefer, you could stay in your ship. But we should have you ready to go first thing in space morning.
Yes, whatever is the equivalent of morning here, but this has been a very long day, Scott. Let us just say.
I can imagine much has happened since you arrived.
Yes, not much time for just sitting down and sleeping, except for that time we used the refresher, and that was it. And then, the one person that believed in all of us, that B2 battle droid, is also the one clapping the hardest.
I knew you could do it, Roger.
Are you talking about the jet or the quartermaster?
Yeah.
The one who thinks you're all going to hang out with him?
Yes, he was also our biggest fan, and one who hoped that, there'd be peace on both sides.
This is the greatest day of my life!
I forgot.
I mean, it sounds like they're gonna have a party tonight, and he's gonna expect us to be there.
Well, we have until Spaceborder, so we got a party to go.
Alright, so what I would like you guys to do is each kind of give like a little short synopsis of what your character does at this really weird party. I will say a couple points of the party. At various points, you're approached by one of the clone troopers, and they basically say this isn't something we normally do, but they basically give each of you a big hug. And they say thank you for helping us. We don't deserve it. We'll do everything we can to make the rest of our lives as useful to these people as possible to make our second shot worth it.
To be honest,
That's why you do deserve it. That attitude right there.
Yes. No. More importantly, as Ruthless said, you have done lots for the community in all of this. So just don't feel like to be guilting yourself over all of this. It's been over 20 plus years, and at least now we were able to at least air it out. So it's time to, be able to get back to a sort of new normal.
Outside of that, basically at various points, the quartermaster droid will come up to you and ask you to dance. Nothing weird, no slow dancing, but he'll just like
He's dancing to Rod Stewart.
He does kind of like a little white boy shuffle. Kind of bops around.
Look at me doing the
here's
robot.
the question. No, would it be offensive if we did the robot?
If you ask him that, he says, "No, not at all. In fact, I consider intimidation to be the most sincere form of flattery."
And then he tells us we can use the D word.
Yeah, and he says, "Allow me to do the dance that I call the human," and he starts, the bioorganism, and he starts kind of shuffling around.
Does the worm? No, he does the worm.
Yeah. Bioorganism, he says as he flops around on the floor. Scott, at one point, comes up to you and says, "I just wanted to say thank you. I've never seen quite the display that I saw in there. Of course, the only display I ever saw was a bunch of people just barely holding it together. But still, I greatly appreciate the effort you put into it. And, of course, for saving all our lives. I will say, I think that the lot of you have considerable potential as far as managing situations like this. If you ever decide to set down roots, start a colony, perhaps somewhere away from the Empire, please let me know." He slips you what boils down to a piece of paper with an encrypted HoloNet channel on it. It also has a note, show up 1 hour early tomorrow before you're scheduled to leave. I need to tell you something.
This wasn't half as difficult as defending my thesis statement. Those universities, man.
Especially when your own advisor is against you.
And then at another point, Rutho approaches you and says, I'm sure Scott already covered much of it, but I would also like to thank you on behalf of my constituents. You not only saved us from a potential civil war and total annihilation, but you also got us to work together for the first time. I'm hoping that this will continue a momentum with us working together. And if you're ever interested in forming some sort of closer alliance with my people, please don't hesitate to let me know. She also slides you a card with a secure HoloNet address on it, but no additional note. It's just how to contact me and not have the Empire notice. And that's pretty much it. Whatever you guys want to describe as the rest of the party is what happens. So who wants to start?
What type of drunk is Gan? A sad drunk, an angry drunk, a sleepy drunk?
Oh, what kind of drunk is Gand?
What would be the most hilarious?
No, when Gand gets drunk, he forgets that he doesn't have to breathe, and he constantly panics that he's not breathing. Oh my god, I'm dying!
Yeah, Gand 100% is an incredibly nervous, neurotic drunk.
Thinking he's not going to make it, he's not up to snuff of his tribe, all of that. He doesn't know if he's a good findsman.
He keeps forgetting to breathe.
So there are several times where Gand is speaking, and then Gand's voice just ceases to be, and it goes like that for several minutes before Gand realizes that Gand has not been producing sounds because Gand does not breathe, so it's not part of the natural process of making noises. So Gand is constantly going and asking if Gand covered a topic that he has covered 3 times with the various VIP. And other than that, Gand is just trying to escape this without talking. It's not working, but Gand tries.
I would say most of the people probably you get lots of people come up to you and try and engage with you, and they quickly see that you're not really into it, and there might be some people that talk a little bit longer but eventually get pulled away by their friends. But yeah, ultimately a little bit of a nervous evening for you. Who wants to describe their events next?
Marcus is probably treating this like a college party where he's trying to hook up with some single girl and doesn't know why they don't want to talk about academics, because he's used to doing it at a college where everybody has a major and different teachers to talk about and all that stuff.
Does Marcus shotgun his beer?
No, Marcus does vodka and soda.
So he wasn't a frat boy.
No, he wasn't a frat. You don't have to be in a frat to go to a college party.
All right, who was next?
How about Darius?
Oh god. Yeah, Kazan would probably spend the entire time the entire time being like drinking angrily, and then talking to anyone that will get close to him about philosophy as he gets more and more drunk. But not the kind of philosophy that makes a lot of sense to anybody but him.
Yeah.
So something along the lines of, can the Emperor microwave a burrito so hot even he can hold?
Something like that, but less about the Emperor and more about the Great Elder and all sorts of other shit.
So real kind of what's the word? Maybe esoteric kind of knowledge that the average person just can't do anything with it. They can't even begin to process it. because they have to understand all this other stuff first. So, like, you might have, like, a bunch of people come up to you and they listen to you rant for about a minute. You might notice their blank expressions as they're nodding and then just politely excuse themselves.
You know how sadness tastes like blue? I've been given some deep thought to why the fuck this is, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, if anything, sadness looks like it should taste like red, but it tastes like blue.
And there's no naturally occurring blue food. Do you ever think what happened to all the blue food? They're holding out on us, man. The government, man. They got our blue food.
It's all the chemicals in the water. Turning the food not blue. So I guess that leaves Asaph, right?
Yes, well then I'll just be telling stories, all of this, going along the lines of complaining about various places I've been and haven't been yet, weather, all that. Let me tell you about how you can always find the rudest cab drivers with our shit off for some reason. Oh my god. I mean, I guess if everything is covered in smog, you're not going to see the sun, and that gets you angry for some reason, but...
So yeah, I think I'm seeing this as kind of like you guys are standing more or less in a line with maybe like Gand and then
we're at the bar table.
Kazan. Just kind of standing there, initially kind of repelling people over to Marcus.
I will totally try to find fucking try to find Ganon, like continue to like say things to him, except they'll make a lot more sense to him.
You know, I was so Gand. I believe this is going to be the best time for Gand to get more of an understanding of Kazan's philosophy towards the great truths of the universe. This is a great fact-finding mission if Gand were just not constantly worried.
I also would think that the fact-finding would that the ranting person is drunk and probably leaving out half of the details of the stories that he's telling.
The truth always out.
But yeah, I think ultimately most of the party goers kind of pool with Asaph on one end, and to probably to like a slightly lesser degree Marcus as
Gand is also making whatever arrangements he can to slip away to confer with the astromech droid. Which probably needs some sort of designation because my notes and astromech droid are also not great.
Yeah, so I think the what would have happened with the astromech droid is it would have been placed in protective custody. Just to kind of make sure that it doesn't try anything before you guys take it away. But you're trying to slip out and speak with it?
Slipping out is only in the sense of, like, the politeness of the party. Gand is constantly going from at the party to, oh, wait, no, I need to go make sure that Gand needs to go make sure that the droid is aware of what's going on. Gand goes, tries to talk to the droid. Gand then comes back. Gand really needs to go make sure that droid's up.
Okay, yeah, so that sounds about right. So you do manage to slip away from the party long enough for to get in contact with the droid. So more or less, it's in a little cell. There are two guards. One is Neimoidian security, and the other is a droid. and they're both basically standing watch over it. It's kind of it looks like it's powered down at the moment.
Perfect. The droid can't tell Gand it's heard of this before. So Gand is definitely going to be outlining the. So when you get on board the ship, you're going to be a member of the crew, but also we got to find out what caused the clones to kill your Jedi, so that we can figure out what needs to be done to properly put to rest the need to avenge the Jedi.
So, are you asking that in front of the security?
Gand is laying that out in front of this. Like, Gand is going step by step, saying that pretty much every time the Gand comes back. Gand is not being subtle in this moment.
Okay, and then I'm double checking too, because the droid is powered down. Unless you make some sort of move to power it up, you're just going to be
not attempting to wake up. Gand is telling the powered down droid, is repeatedly trying to tell the powered down droid that the plan is, well, you're not going to find your revenge here. You're going to find your revenge out in the greater galaxy, and Gand is going to.
Okay, gotcha. So it's Gand being drunk and not thinking the situation through 100%, right?
1,000%.
All right. So yeah,
Marcus would argue that Gand was never thinking it through 100%.
The security guards kind of look at each other and then look back at Gand and then look back to each other and shrug, and just kind of go back to standing watch as you continue to lay out these grand plans for a for a powered down little droid.
Gand is generating conflict.
All right. Did anyone want to do anything else or describe anything else for the party?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So you rest overnight. Who's taking a room, and who's going to be sleeping on the ship?
Well, Marcus is trying to share a room with a lovely female, but who knows how successful he'll be at that.
Well, as long as he doesn't roll to despair and he wakes up in the bathtub full of ice.
Yeah, with two
Looking
little
at
scars
her
on
decision. Not again. Wait a minute.
I was gonna say.
Those are expensive to replace.
I was gonna say you could make the R2 unit your little walking, talking dialysis machine. I'm gonna say yeah. If anyone wants to bed one of the denizens of the ship, that's certainly a go. I don't want to make anyone roll for that.
Unless it's the comedy option and he went to bed with the B2.
Always a possibility. What was the battle droid that you guys had? Didn't you come up with a name for him? Yes,
we're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, it's not important. Don't want to slow everything down. I did want to tell you the astromech's designation is RTD0. Since that's going to be a thing. So, logistics-wise, you guys now have a standard astromech droid, and you have a basically off-the-line B1 battle droid.
Cool.
So for anyone that's sleeping on the ship, basically you see it the night before. It's almost completely repaired. They're just finishing up the fueling process. And that should be done first thing in space morning. And then for anyone that took a room, either in Carbontown or Synthberg, is anyone arriving at the time that was designated for departure, or is anyone showing up an hour early? Like
we were told, we got told about that, so I'm gonna come up an hour early.
I think Kazan is probably sleeping in like a pile of like discarded like scraps and trash or something, like somewhere in the hangar bay.
Sounds about in character.
Gand bumped in Carbon Town, responding politely to inquiries to stay in Carbon. And then Gand is going to be arriving the hour early. Yes, Gand is going to be arriving 2 hours early.
All right.
Gand does not have much to do. Gand is gonna do a stakeout.
So basically, you notice there are a whole lot of droids just kind of milling about, doing their standard thing. Not really a whole lot to write home about. When a little bit before the hour mark, Scott shows up and just kind of sits there humming to himself, waiting for everyone else to show up. So when everyone else starts to show up, he says, thank you for meeting me here. I didn't exactly know how important this was to keep secret. He kind of looks around, and there's no one around. The place is almost completely empty, except for like maybe one little mouse droid roaming around. Way far away from me, though, not within earshot. He says, so I have to apologize. It's not normally our policy to do this, but one of the technicians that was repairing your fuel gauge happened to glance at your manifest. I do apologize, but we thought we'd bring it up because there's a discrepancy in your manifest and how many cases you're carrying. So the manifest showed that you were carrying 50 crates of zip disks. Not sure what those are, but it looked falsified. Where this is important is we actually counted 51 crates. Just thought you might want to know.
I literally don't remember what the stuff was or anything about it. We have been on this station for so long. I don't remember what the main quest is.
Gand remembers. Gand remembers, or at least Gand took notes. What was the non-zip disk? Oh, the non-zip disk thing was, Gand remembers. So, Gand Gand would like to take a moment to tell Skod, King of the Droids, that Gand and Gand's captain are aware of the discrepancy. Gand would prefer if Gand isn't capable of winking, but Gand would be winking in this moment. Gand would prefer if Skod, King of the Droids, were to understand that one of the crates is not quite like the others, and Gand is aware that this might be a problem if something were to ask about customs. Gand would hope to avoid such complications, but Gand would like to know what Skod, King of the Droids, has to say.
Well, I mean, it's none of my business, really. I just wanted to make sure you understood that you're carrying an additional crate that isn't on your manifest. Which, I don't know. I'm assuming that you're carrying this cargo for someone. They must have given you an extra one on accident.
Gand will confirm that it was on accident. Once again, Gand would be winking if Gand were capable of winking.
Oh, okay. Well, just wanted you to know. Wink?
Just to clarify, Scott, don't keep this to yourself. Don't spread it around.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why I slipped you a note saying, meet me an hour early, and I can give you the information.
Right. I'm saying, don't give the information to anybody else.
The only people that know are the 2 technicians that noticed the discrepancy and counted. That's it. And me and you.
Gand would like to use this as a teachable moment for Scott, King of the Droids. Gand will point out that occasionally traders would choose to not acknowledge on their manifest cargo that they don't want found out if they were so desired as to avoid the suspicion of interested parties. Gand understands that Space Station 9 is not an interested party, but Gand would like to clarify that occasionally there will be discrepancies between the manifest and the cargo hold of traders coming through here, and to acknowledge but ignore them.
Okay.
Gand is trying to explain that smugglers will be involved.
Why keep it out in the open, though?
We kind of got that ship in the last minute. It's,
it appeared to me that more or less what probably happened is they lost count and added an extra crate.
Scott, do you know what smuggling is?
I understand that typically you want to hide things that you're smuggling. Not call attention to them by having a discrepancy on your manifest.
Gand will point out that we are both very new and very bad at it.
Well then, this also means that the Imperials were not that good either.
Gand would like to offer a heartfelt thanks to Scott, King of the Droids, in this endeavor.
You're quite welcome. Is there anything else I can help you out with at the moment?
We're all fueled up, right?
You're almost done. You have roughly 30 space minutes before we do one final systems check and let you go.
Galactic Standard Time is well known. You don't have to append space to every unit of time that you give us.
You get it, you're from space.
I prefer to keep consistent.
Gand understands, and Gand appreciates.
Alright, so unless anyone has any last minute things they want to do on the ship, time passes.
Marcus just wants to... No, Marcus is going to double check that the lightsaber is still there where he put it.
It is.
Cool.
Alright, so if no one else has anything to do, time passes, the fueling process finishes, the meter on your handy new fuel gauge is reading F instead of E. Hopefully this one is better than the last one. But it appears you're fully fueled up. The damage on your ship is actually repaired. So your ship is now 100% operational and hull damage free. And the critical hit has been restored. You also have a RTD0 astromech droid and is it SUS 1139? Is
Yeah.
it?
Yes, SUSSE. It's supposed to be an acronym of Supply Unit Supply Side Economics. 1139.
How do you pronounce that though? Susie? Susie?
I'm going to say sus.
Sus. You also have any goods that you procured on the encounter, and you also have the knowledge that there is one additional box in the stack of boxes that's not listed on your manifest. So, once you're all back in your seats in the ship, I'm going to need someone to make an astrogation check.
I will aid. Or I guess I can lead, but I don't have any dots in it.
Well, I got astrogation.
Okay. I'm in 3.
I'm 4.
Difficulty is set.
I did it.
All right, so you have successfully plotted a course, and you'll have to forgive me for just one moment. So yeah, you blast off into hyperspace, just outside of the shields. Well, what will be the shields of the battle droid command center or command ship. All right, so you have a few hours in hyperspace, really. Now that you've got, a full tank of gas, what does everyone want to do?
We should talk about how we're going to approach finding these targets now.
Gand agrees. Gand has some ideas, and by some ideas, Gand means Gand would like to perform. No, that needs to be done. That ritual needs to be done on planet. So yes, Gand believes we should just strategize then. We are on the path, but we should strategize.
I think we need to recap about why are we going here, aside from trying to help the Deep Space Nine. Because it's been that long, gang.
It's been a minute.
Gand remembers in detail Gand's missions in life, and by that I mean Gand has received. So we have the stolen the stolen cargo. We have the smuggled cargo we have to deliver, and we also have two different bounty fobs that are on the planet. We have one that is that will net us 10,000 credits, and the other is technically added to our obligation. So it should be enough to cover the value of this ship, which is not that huge, but is quite a bit. And both of these bounties should be found on the planet. And delivering the shipment will square us away with the 10 Lost Syndicate. Otherwise, this will have actually just been a very complicated way for them to kill us.
And did you cover the delivery of those 50 crates?
Yes, the crates need to be delivered.
I think that was the main one. That and the minor bounty were the ones that would. Actually, wait a second. No. So I'm sorry. You're close.
The major bounty and the crates should cover the ship's value. No, all of them is to cover the ship's value, isn't it?
No,
The agreement was the main bounty covered the ship, and the other one got us 10,000 credits.
Yeah, but the delivery went along with the ship payment. Because the shipment is the big one that they wanted you to do.
It's just we didn't have a ship, so in order to get a ship, we had to collect extra jobs.
Yeah. So the minor bounty is just for 10K credits. If you don't complete it, it's not a big deal. The other two are the ones for your obligation.
Yeah, I have it listed in my personal gear as obligation 10 fob. So yeah, it's definitely the other fob is for the obligation and involving squaring us away with the Penlaw Syndicate so that we are no longer potentially indebted to a crime organization.
All right, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good synopsis of everything that happened, I think, yesterday for you all, or the day before. I think...
Day before, because we had, it was the next day wherein they broke the fuel gauge and gave us the worst transport possible.
Yeah, and then pretty much everything else that happened took place yesterday.
Yes, but to me it was a Tuesday.
God, that's the best response ever. All right, so I think the gist is you have fobs that will take you to a target's location, but you don't know exactly who they are until you get within range of them and do some searching. You do know the whereabouts of the delivery that you're supposed to make. And that's just an office park not too far away from the starport that you've been directed to land in.
So, Scott, the king of the droids, did bring up a very good point, which is, do we have somewhere to hide the crate we don't want to open?
I think that would be a mechanics check.
Yes, and he's in dinner right now.
Okay, we can come back to that.
And is a simple country findsman, fresh to the city, that does not understand mechanics, aside from the mechanics of physics, when the Gand will drop. But we have the two different sets of bounties, and the delivery to make. The delivery involves getting past customs, which we will need to work on a solution to that. And the bounties, though, how do we want to approach them? Do we want to go for the 10K bounty first to kind of prep ourselves and get ourselves warmed up for the process of hunting bounties, or is Gand being sent on the more difficult bounty first?
How about we tackle it when we arrive there? all this planning is going to go, like, be gone by the time we arrive, and we're going to have to improvise.
Gand appreciates it. Gand would also like to take some time to try and generate a rapport with RT.
Okay. So the droid's disposition has been more or less kind of sullen. At any time you speak with him, it responds in a way that sounds like it's grateful, but still seems rather downtrodden.
Gand is going to begin with an apology for one of the many can't Star Wars up this analogy. I'm sad about that. One of the many rancors in the room. There we go. Gand is going to apologize for destroying the droid's final creature.
It beeps back. I understand. You saved me, so I will gladly assist you and your companions in whatever it is you need me to do. Was there something you needed me to do now?
Gand does require assistance in attempting to find a suitable location within the ship's hull with which to put some sort of compartment with which to smuggle things.
I suppose I could help with that. Shoot, I forgot. You guys were given medical aid before you left. Let's real quick do that. Do you restore all wounds over a night's sleep, or...?
Yeah, it takes about an hour, so you can just say overnight it happens. The crits need to be actual medical attention.
They can try for those. So I think it's just a medicine roll against the actual difficulty of each check. Who should we check first?
One second.
Gand is fine.
I got 3.
Wait, you mean 3 critical hits, or...?
3 critical hits.
We can do 1, I think, a day. So just tell me the difficulty of the one you want us to try for.
Difficulty 2.
And because I'm a nice GM, using a dark side point. And yeah, of course it's now going to take forever. There we go. 2 successes. The medical robot. What wound was it?
All of them were the same difficulty, so we'll just say agonizing wound.
All right. Yeah. So that one particularly bad. We'll say probably a vibroblade slice. It manages to fix it right up, so no scar. You're just fine. Who's next?
I had 2.
Tell me the difficulty and name of one you want us to try for.
I'm currently trying to find where I wrote them on my sheet.
They should just have them on your character sheet on Roll20 under
I don't.
critical injuries.
I don't have access to the Roll21.
You can't open it at all?
It doesn't show up correctly. Remember, it
Weird.
doesn't show up. Like, it breaks the tables of the page in my browser. So
Okay. Well, so do you want to do the easy one or the hard one?
do the hard one first.
All right. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and use a destiny point to help you rather than hinder you. So 1 upgrade, 3 difficulty. Unfortunate. So it tried really, really hard, but that really nasty wound you had just doesn't seem like it's operable at the moment. Who else?
I have another one.
I think you can only do 1 per day.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah, it's 1 per day.
that's it for me then.
Did anyone else have a crit? Not Gan, but Marcus as at dinner. Okay, cool. Well, we can flash back to that if need be. But in the meanwhile, you're trying to find a good hiding place for this. So, let's see. The astromech droid does actually have mechanics.
This is why Gan came to the astromech droid. This is half of his job?
Alright.
I mean, it's literally in the goddamn name.
Yeah. So, is anyone going to assist?
Gan is offering unskilled assistance.
And that's probably about it for this particular one. Maybe one person working directly with the droid.
I would assume that Marcus could offer skilled assistance potentially.
Well, one, he's not here.
Yeah, he's not here, which is why it's a problem. So I can't be like, yeah, he would, but
yeah, he definitely would. But I'll do it with the standard mechanics roll for it, along with a boost. Okay. So, let me take a note of this too. So it's a makeshift smuggler hole. What do you call those? Hatch? Smuggler's hatch? Smuggler's compartment.
Yeah. Compartment.
P, two setback. Okay, so the astromech and was it Gand who was going around with him?
Yes, Gand is taking Scott's warning to heart and attempting to solve the problem of an extra. All
right. So between the two of you, you managed to find a place that looks like it might have enough volume to handle a crate of that size and not get in the way of any onboard wiring or anything like that. So again, between the two of you, you managed to cut it open, weld it shut, and hide it. How do you want to say you're hiding it?
So basically, they had to kind of run a line to replace the fuel gauge, and doing so, they have opened up enough space to be able to fit either a droid down there or one of these crates. So we are sliding the crate into the zone they've created to get into the the fuel line to put the new fuel.
All right. So you do that, and as far as you can tell, it's pretty safely hidden. So to recap for Circle Master, who just got back, you just hid that 51st crate in a makeshift smuggler's compartment. Also, you all got medical treatment. So, if you want to tell me one of your... did you get any critical hits?
Did I get any critical hits? No.
Okay, good. So, yeah, they would have just kind of looked you over and made sure you were fine and given you a pat on the back and a lollipop. Yeah, that's where you stand. I think everyone was trying to figure out whether you're going to fly by the seat of your pants on the next mission, or if you're going to do any pre-planning. And outside of that, the 51st box is now taken care of.
Well, in terms of pre-planning, which mission are we talking about? Are we talking about delegation for Space Station 9, or are we talking about delivering goods and killing people?
Finding people. What happens once we find them is fuzzy.
Well, I think what happens after we find them is we make sure they don't get away by removing their ability to take actions.
Gand has binders.
And also has a very big gun. But anyway, what mission, what side of this are we talking about in terms of pre-planning or no?
Our next mission is very clearly to square our stuff away with the 10 Lost Syndicate. We are heading to the planet where we can divest ourselves of the boxes. We can find a way to locate, and we'll see what happens. The 2 bounties.
I thought they gave us tracking devices for those?
Even if the fobs did not work in that way, Gand will find them.
So yeah, just if we're talking about dropping off the cargo, I'm not sure that there is anything that we need to pre-plan.
Gand believes that the main problem with the cargo, which is to say avoiding detection via looking at it, has been mitigated, if not prevented.
Okay. And we're not getting any money in exchange for this, is that correct?
We were getting the ship. Seems like quite a bit of money to me. But if you're asking, will it help us refuel the ship and fix things and buy new parts, then the answer is no.
And that's where the 10K bounty could really help.
Gand is solving problems.
All right, so
Marcus considers himself having solved the last problem, so he's fine with Gand taking the turn to solve this problem.
Right, so after a few hours in light space, or hyperspace, you come out, and you find yourselves in orbit around Biscayne, which just the computer gives you a little brief bio of it. You know how every Star Wars planet is one thing? Well, this is an office park. It's just an office park. That's all it is. It's just one big office park. So you are essentially guided to land your ship at one particular port, and then from there it's a short jaunt to a nearby office building where you're going to be unloading the cargo. And I think that this is probably the best place to end it for the time being. Next week we can start your mission to clear up any existing debt you have with the syndicate. One thing I did want to point out, I'm starting to feel, and I know I shouldn't, but I'm starting to feel fatigued. And I think it's probably an overexertion on my end from trying to plan too much for it. But it's also, I think, kind of the way everything is going with COVID-19. So what I'd like to do, I'm not saying we're going to end it soon, but I would like to kind of coast gently to a point where we all feel that it's a good place to end it. So if everyone feels like clearing yourself with a 10 loss and establishing that you're going to go off and do your own thing is a good place to end it, then we can end after this next mission. If you want to at least get your colony started, or if you want to go on like another side mission, we could do that. I want to end it in a way that people feel good about it and like they've had some time to actually play their character. I wanted to give heads up, mainly.
Oh, don't worry.
And then, but yeah, I'm not like stressed out now. I'm not saying that I think we should stop now, unless everyone else is like, yeah, no, this is a good stopping point. I'm very much happy to keep going for another adventure.
I would definitely believe that if you would prefer, just for your comfort, ending once we've squared our debts away with the 10 Law Syndicate, I have had a good time with this character. I've understood this character, and I have experience with just like experiencing a character for a relatively short period of time. Like I would be fine with ending it at the completion of this bounty collection, but I would also be happy to continue further. Like, if you are up to getting us to consolidating a, like, actual, we're off forming a colony, and then we have, like, a session where we meet with, where we, like, get to say goodbye to the characters, I would be more preferred to that, but I'm very, very calm and cool.
What are everyone else's thoughts?
Let's see where we're at in a few sessions. If people want it, I might be willing to take over.
Yeah.
Also,
Good.
Unrelatedly, but related to this game slowing down, I am working on a separate OP for a different sort of game that I'm going to try and run either here or elsewhere if no one's willing to give me GMing access here.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get GM access.
But I'm working on and am going to have an OP up tonight.
Okay, just add us.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
All right. So my thoughts, what I'd like to do the most is finish this mission and then kind of establish what everyone feels their character is going to do. And then if someone else wants to pick up the story, cool, you have a jumping off point. If not, the story has reached a logical conclusion and it's not ending mid season. I think kind of a combination of what I think Karmic was saying and what Darius was saying, kind of a let's see how things go, and come to a good stopping point. As far as experience points go, usual 15 base for everyone playing their character, 10 for mission completion. I'm also going to give an additional 5 for sparing the droid. And then on top of that, you have the potential 5 XP for writing your character bio for the session, and a potential 2 experience for writing down notes.
Roger.
All right.
30 in total, if I counted that right.
42.
Well, yeah, with the ups and extras. So.
Yeah, so 15 base, 10 for a mission, 5 for sparing the droid. That comes to 30. And then 35 if you write your character bio, 37 if you write the notes.
Yeah.
All right, anything else before we sign off?
I think we're good.
No, good stuff.
All right. Well, good
One.
Good deal, everyone. Have a great evening, and same time next week.
Yep.
All right.
Good.
Good night.
Now I gotta actually write that and make it make sense.